We begin in 1066. Here in England, there's a little bit of a succession crisis. As you can see, there's no king, obviously. There's no king. With no king, there are a bunch of people that will obviously take the throne. Before the 911 AD, Normans came into northern France and took a bunch of stuff and burned everything. And, I mean, at the same time, in England, there were multiple Viking invasions. Like, a lot. One of them, the royal family fled to Normandy. And they only had like three Viking kings before they all died, and there was no clear successor. So the English family retook their throne, and yeah, they reigned, they chilled until 1066, where their king died. Obviously, there's going to be a power struggle, and one of the people who were within that power struggle was Godwinson, Earl of Wessex. Another person within that power struggle was King Harold III of Norway. And obviously, there was the Normans, because, well, if you're gonna stay in a place, obviously you're gonna make friends there. And the king did make friends in Normandy, one of them being the Duke himself, William the Bastard. Why they called him the Bastard? Well, because his father apparently went to a tan shop, and yeah, you can use your imagination for that. Alright. So Norway attempts an invasion to the north of England. They failed the Battle of York, and they retreat. Harold would never try to take the English throne ever again. It was the last attempt for the Vikings to even think to take the throne. While at the same time, William was waiting for the winds to finally go north so that he can invade England. So Godwinson didn't even bother to put troops in the south, at least, just in case that William pulls up. So yeah, there's that. And finally, in 1066, William the Bastard landed, and the Battle of Hastings was a defeat for Godwinson. Reports say he died because of an arrow in his eye, but you could do your own research about that. But anyway, this battle was basically the last nail in Godwinson's coffin, literally, and with it came the conquest of the remainder of England. William would rule England for a bit of a while. Then his son William II can become king. But then he'd be killed in a hunting accident. And yeah, there was a civil war started over this between Rudolph and some other guy. Forgot his name. But then it got called to the Crusade, so everything stopped. Now Normandy was basically English at this point. Alright, it's English. But one more thing that I need. And finally, Henry the King of England was Henry the First. He died because he ate too much lepers during a rebellion. Normandy incited by his daughter Matilda. Was married off to the Holy Roman Emperor, by the way, Henry the Fifth. They really love that name, huh? Anyway, she fought a war with Stephen, Count of Blois, and also her son Henry II would basically become King of England after the war, after the truce, obviously. Well, we get to a bit of the meat and potatoes of this story. Alright? So y'all need to be focused. You see, Matilda was married. uh, See, Matilda was married to the Count of Anjou, with whom they had a son, obviously, who was Henry. So Anjou was pretty much added to the English domains. Alright, they were added to the English domains. And Henry would go on to marry Eleanor of Aquitaine, which would add Aquitaine into the English domains, both being French lands, and they would vassalize Brittany in the meantime. Brittany is marked as French, but it's technically independent, but I won't bother with it. Alright, I don't care. I don't care what you say. It still end up would be French, but I have left. So we got Andrew obviously annexed into the English crown. So not only would you be Duke of the King of England and also Count of Anjou. There's also Aquitaine that will be that got added with the marriage of Eleanor of Aquitaine, who was married to Louis with the seventh of England, but bro was just so over religious, and they had a bit of a fight until they decided, nah, we annul the marriage, and they did annul the marriage, and Eleanor married with Henry, and if you don't know, the Anjous are Plantagenets, and also that House of Anjou would end up like ruling over Sicily. So technically, you could say, um, yeah, they ruled over Sicily, and also some of them got married to the Count of Castile. Yeah, 1066 was the most important year in European history, guys. 1066 was the most important year. That would have 1848, for example. Yeah, there's a little bit of an issue. Anjou and Aquitaine and probably Brittany, they were all French realms, so they had to pay tribute to France. You may ask, oh, but they could just pay the tribute, right? No, England ain't gonna pay no tribute. You all know why? Because, well, they're English vassals. So that's why we got the Hundred Years' War. We got the end of an empire looking something like this. I know this is a bit into the Mediterranean Sea, but I try to be most accurate. Anyway, so all these realms, they're English, but also French, which sparks a dispute. And also a dispute over the French throne sparks, and yeah, y'all can guess where that could go. War. Because Europeans can't find out anything else to do but war. Warmongering assholes. The English claim with the French crown because, like, some type of marriage between nobles. Loki need to research that more in detail, but this war had like three phases: the Lancaster War, the Caroline War, and the I forgot the third phase, but these are the two phases so far. And you can clearly see that the French realm is also kind of reduced. So again, so that kind of gives them an excuse to go to war against England. But this war would have to be stopped multiple times because, well, crusades were happening at the same time. And if you know anything about crusades, that um, they tend to leave your throne kind of vulnerable. All right, just to say the least. Like Richard only reigned for 3 months in England. And just to show you here all the English realms, like period, plus the Holy Roman Empire of Burgundy, they're gonna come pretty important later on. But all you can see here is that the Aquitaine, Anjou, um, Normandy, Brittany, some Irish states, and some Welsh states are all under Angevin control, but France would very much like it if they took back their richest province and their most important one. Like, I mean, yeah, that's another reason. But they're not gonna say they want their just province back. They're gonna say, oh, but these are lands that well, English cannot pay, not pay as tribute. So war it is. The HRE even supported some HRE states supported England. Okay, still even intervened at one point. Anyway, this war is a lot of mess. Alright, it's a huge mess. And if you wanna know the end, spoilers, England lost. And what else? Yep. Throughout this war lasted 116 years, but it had kind of three phases. And people just put it in like one big basket, put your eggs in one basket. And I mean, that war just shows you how much France and England hate each other. So yeah, those are the reasons of the Hundred Years' War summarized. And yeah, it's kind of botched, but I like it.